Hi, Isabella. Very nice to finally put a face, and great to have you here today on our channel and as part of Plogix. Obviously, I've been looking at your artwork for some time now. It's really interesting what you're doing. Clearly, you have a love for the ocean. You have your Maldives sweater also today, which is absolutely great. Yeah, looking forward to obviously learning more, not just about your art in general, but more about your journey and what got you started. Of course, you are, you know, living in Australia, gone to the other side of the world from Czech, so it's very interesting that already in and of itself. So yeah, if you can maybe just to get started, just give us a little bit of an intro and a little bit of how you got started, obviously into art.
Hello, Gino. Well, thank you for having me and giving me a chance for this interview. It's a pleasure. So my story is, let's say, long, but I think very adventurous and led me where I am today. Which, as you mentioned, I am living in Australia for 11 years now, and I am originally from Czech Republic. So I came here just to, try something different, to try a different lifestyle, to live in a different culture. And I've always been a very curious person. And yeah, so I've done it. I just came. I put everything, my few things in the backpack, and I came for 6 months. And so far, I'm still here.
So 6 months became what you said, 11 years
11
before.
years, and now I'm also the citizen. So this gives me, real option. I can choose if I want to stay here or maybe go back to Europe, which I still love, and I go as much as I can to visit. Yes, so this was a big change, and I think big transformation in my life, which escalated in me becoming a professional artist here, which was just like a little girl's dream, let's say, that I didn't dare to really believe in, or I wouldn't think it's maybe possible without me taking these steps that took and risks in my life. And I think what I can say about my artistic journey through since I was little, I've always been very creative child. I remember my walls in my room were always, full of drawings and some ceramic things. And during the holidays, I was painting like a big posters themed like Africa, ocean, and the animals, and I just loved it. I found it as it was calming me down as a kid, and I liked this time of solitude actually. And when I was growing up, I was still drawing, etc. But it was always part of my hobby, not part of my very conscious decision. Or I want to be an artist, or I want to do this for my in my life. But when I made the decision of coming to Australia, here I had to start from zero. So first few years in a different countries, mostly you need to survive somehow. So it was a lot of work, a lot of effort put just to be able to live here and really to know if that's the place for me. And I very much, probably within a year after I came here, I met my partner that I'm still in a relationship with, and we started diving in the ocean. And this this segment, this diving part, this changed something inside of me. And somehow this desire to paint and create again came out. And it was very strong. And I knew that I cannot ignore it. And I just decided, okay, I went to the art shop for the first time, probably in Australia, and I bought the canvases and I bought paints and brushes, and I thought to myself, I really want to start again. I want to start painting again. I want to see what I can actually do. And this was, I don't know, this was just a milestone that from then changed everything.
You get inspired by the actual by being in the ocean in terms of your art, and and if so, what was the trigger? Was it just the diving or the beauty of what you saw in the water? And were you always a diver, or just became a diver as when you moved to Australia?
So I became a diver when I moved to Australia. I always loved water, and I think part of moving to Australia on the coast was because I wanted to be by the ocean and just feel how it feels to just be by the ocean. So I loved water and ocean, but I never thought of diving. I loved swimming. And then when I meet my partner, Alvaro, he really wanted to dive. So he is from Chile originally.
Okay,
So he's a foreigner.
okay,
And he started diving, and then I saw this pure happiness in him when he came back from diving,
yeah.
and I thought, oh my god, I have to find out like how it feels. So he took me one time after his dive just on the spare air, and I was sitting on this ocean floor with him, maybe in 4 meter deep water, and this big stingray was just passing through, and I was, oh my god, this is so cool, this is amazing, and I just had to start diving. So I started diving with him, and the feeling that I got from being underwater and from seeing marine life in their environment and how close you can get and how it's just so different from being on the land. I think this was what really inspired me because I felt it's so beautiful that everyone should see it, so maybe it will change how they are, because it was very calming, very it just felt home. It
Yeah.
felt, no stress, no all these many thoughts that we have in our life daily, because the world is a very messy place. So it was the environment, and I just felt like, oh, I just want to, like, I don't know, share it maybe, but it was maybe for myself. So but it was this need to put it out there in the way I see it, I feel it. And that is what brought me back to paint, because I wanted to paint underwater at that point, only underwater.
So you get inspiration from the ocean, and I noticed that a lot of there's obviously a lot of different mammals and everything that you're putting into canvas. Um, is there anything in particular about the ocean that you enjoy the most in terms of bringing to the canvas? Is it more the fish, the reefs, the mix of everything? And what about the ocean, call it symbology, that you like to also bring to
Hmm.
canvas? Obviously, you tell me that, it kind of frees you, liberates you from everything else, which surely I can totally relate to that, and especially nowadays, because even myself, when I'm going on vacation nowadays and you take your phone with you, you still cannot fully disconnect, you know? So, I mean, aside from maybe the plane sometimes, which not even anymore so because and some of them even have Wi-Fi, right? But yeah, it's so hard to disconnect these days. So I can totally relate to that. But yeah, so going to the art, is it more of just the animals itself, a mix of everything, and what sort of symbology do you actually bring to the canvas?
So yes, that's right. What you said. There are two, like, or few factors, and yeah, one is to bring the animals closer to people because not everybody dives, and obviously, ocean underwater is hidden, right? We don't see it unless you go underwater. You don't know how it looks like, and for me personally, what as much as I love reefs and I think they are beautiful, I more I'm more attracted to the animals, and the bigger the better. So I love sharks, and I really so sharks are a big theme in my art, and I think now in my life, where it's connected to our fear of sharks and all of how the sharks are perceived by public everywhere in the world, even in Australia. It's massive fear still. So it's just the need to show it, the animal, from a different perspective, to show that there is a purpose of this animal in the ocean, and that there are ways how to coexist with this animal, with the sharks, and then all the other beautiful animals like whales, which are just like breathtaking, and two little octopuses. It's just, they all have different personalities and things that you feel a connection to. And that's the other thing, that, as you mentioned, that I feel the same, that unfortunately the world is um, making us very disconnected to nature and to each other, and to what we are maybe deep inside. And yes, so I use this tool of ocean and wildlife to connect to us, to because I believe that sometimes underwater, and not just underwater, but when you are close to the wildlife, can be a bird, can be a bigger animal, there is some kind of communication happening, that maybe not on the conscious level but on unconscious level. And I think this is something what we lost, or we don't pay much attention to it. But to bring this back to our life and to bring back the intuition, I think this is what I'm kind of trying to do with the art. But it's more, it's kind of more intuitive as well process, the bringing this connection, and um as away from the technology, and the just thinking, but more of the feeling, really, what is happening inside of us. So I go back a lot as well to symbols and archetypes, and this is also because I my background as education, I have masters in culture studies. So I spend a lot of time studying about philosophy, anthropology, social patterns, and cultural patterns. So I believe that there are these symbols and archetypes that on a level, on unaware level, um, we are like programmed to have it. So I think if you use it, you can really bring back something what is um, not really exposed now in the world, and that we are not aware that actually this can be a tool to help us just living happier.
Do you
And if
feel do you feel
yes,
all this as you're creating a lot of the paintings, and when you do create most of these paintings, do they represent any specific places that you go to when you're diving? In other words, like I'm sure you have probably your go-to places already, and favorites, but obviously you put sharks, which by the way, props to you. I think that's really, really, really brave because I don't know if I don't know if well, I don't know the types of sharks that you're diving with, first of all, but I suppose you know it's
Okay.
already bra okay, all types. Well, um, you picked sharks, obviously, and I suppose that a lot of them are also, well, I know I saw a lot of mammals and whales and stuff, um, but is it more being, you said bigger is better in that sense? Is it more that you feel more connected by being close to a big creature, and that's why you're bringing, you know, this into the canvas and you enjoy more kind of diving amongst big creatures? Um, and if so, do you paint it, I guess call it as I asked initially, you know, certain places as opposed to just in general, or is it pretty much what comes a mix of things that come to your mind as you're painting?
What you've been taught of you or you read about sharks, or mostly in the media, it's very, they're presented as monsters. They want you, they come and kill you, they attack you. But when you are close to the shark, it's not like that. It's actually very different. The energy is different. It's not, I'm not saying they are like pet, you can pat them, but it's just very different. It's, you feel the power and you feel the energy, but they are apex predators. I mean, they can do whatever they want, or they can take you if they want to, but they don't want to take you. And I think this is what I realize, and that's what I'm trying to say through it, that um, that they are very misunderstood, and whatever media and governments are saying, it's not necessarily true. How? Because I experience how they are. I mean, we dive with bull sharks, with tiger sharks. We saw a great white sharks diving, which is, so rare. Not in the cage, just diving. And there are so many other different type of sharks, and not every shark is the same. There are like sharks that are more territorial, and they are, the other sharks respect this shark because this shark is bigger and stronger. So it's just really, yeah, trying to um, say that what you know, or what you think you know, is not necessarily true to what is really happening, and what are these animals, why are they here. And then there is all the balance that is created, but by having all of these animals in the water. And when I paint certain sharks, let's say, or other animals, and I um, really had experience to be with them in the water. So I put, I think, I don't make it really look the same, but it's more of the feeling and the emotion that I felt when seeing this animal. So I try to go back to the emotion as well that I had when I experienced this interaction. And with the places, I may describe it in the words, but I may not necessarily put it, like, directly on the canvas.
Do you
But
use
it
any
is,
sort of symbology to express like certain things, or do you paint it maybe a certain way to express you know what you express, that kind of that sense of freedom or that sense of disconnectedness from the world and that connection with the sharks, or maybe even so portraying the sharks or these big creatures in such a way that is completely opposite to
yeah,
what the mainstream media obviously uh, you know sim or
here.
identify presents it as. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I put I because I paint in layers, so sometimes on the under layers you can find either there is something written, um, there can be with sharks can be like fear or respect, and then I may put certain symbols that I found, and they are that I wanted the message. If there can be like the elements of the like air, water, fire, or I put some symbolic objects, but I try not to overdo it as well. At the end, focus that the painting itself, it actually brings beauty, because I think with the shark especially you think it's ugly and you are afraid. So I'm trying to show that it can be beautiful, that it is beautiful if you look from the other way. And I think not, and now I'm talking maybe not just about the shark paintings, but with every painting. I really love everything beautiful, like something what is, and it's very difficult. Art is subjective, and it's very difficult to, I don't know, describe beauty or what is beautiful, right? So,
What can be
uh,
beautiful to you for somebody else is completely different, and or I guess people express it in different ways. So, and aside from sharks, do you I mean obviously what other kinds of marine life do you like to paint? If so, and do you do any sort of combinations? When you draw a lot of the creatures, do you like to put a lot of emphasis on the creature itself, or do you actually add, a lot of different elements to it? I mean, coral reefs or anything else, that stands out?
so I like, so a part of sharks, I really like to paint whales. I painted whales, octopus, stingrays, manta rays, um, just I, I think they are all beautiful, but I would say that these are the main of the underwater animals that I like to portray, because I also like big canvases. So that's why, I guess maybe that's why the big animals,
How big are
because
most of your canvases?
they are about a meter by meter, let's say. Yes.
And do you mix
So
a lot of the like the marine life, or is it mainly like if you're doing solely shark, focus on shark, solely whale, focus on whales, octopus, or do you tend to mix different elements together, maybe also with reef stuff and other kind of smaller detail to it?
sometimes I put a little bit of a reef, but the backgrounds tend to be more like abstract, or just a color, let's say, maybe not really specific. It's not fully realism, so the animal is more realistic, but the around is not really full realism, and it's just the brushstroke would indicate that there is a reef around, or there is a rock around, or there are some shadows of the fish. So I don't think, I don't remember painting like a big scene of the underwater world. Mostly is I focus on one or two. I will put two whales together, um, or two animals together, but mostly is a single one. It's just like a portrait of this animal, and then I like to combine the animal with a human. So with a portrait, mostly female portraits, and this
Any reason why mostly females portraits?
I'm female, I guess.
So you relate a lot of it to yourself, basically.
Yeah, well, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And I think too, although like I want to start painting more males as
Yeah.
well. I think it's just easier for me to express the female energy
Yeah.
because I am a female, and
Okay.
it's yeah, it's probably about the feminine energy, and and than anything else. Just because I'm a woman, yeah, it's more. more this energy, but like I can have male energy as well.
Just out of curiosity, yeah, that's why. Um,
Yes.
really, really cool. And most of it is all acrylic or oil based, and if so, like what other kinds of mediums do you use, or any other materials that you like to use, or that maybe help you obviously express, you know, everything that we've talked about so far?
So mainly I use oil. I love oils. I don't know why. It's not that it's been like this forever. I Since I started painting here in Australia, I just was drawn. I wanted to paint oils, and I just love oils. I think for the texture they have, sometimes they have this smell, and the colors are just looking beautiful. So I have so many different colors of the oils, and I love it the most. So every painting is finished with at least, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 layers of oil. Sometimes the painting is fully oil, so it started with oil even without any sketch under, and it finished with oil. But sometimes I do sketch under with the graphite, and then I can use sometimes maybe some spray paint or mixed medium, just to make a different kind of texture under. So it depends on the project, I guess. It depends on the project and how I see it, how I visualize it in my head. Then I would use a different materials, but oil is 70% of the painting will be oil anyway.
So you have a lot of patience with with the drying process, I guess, as well. Um,
Yes, but
when
here can dry quickly. I mean, especially in summer, it's
okay,
hot.
that's good to
Yeah.
know. And you do several at once, or you usually more the type that okay, I finished uh, painting before I start the next, or do you work on several projects simultaneously?
Depends what it is, but mostly yes, mostly several paintings at once. Especially if it's before the exhibition, I would have 3 or 4 at once started, and then I can, because of the drying process, I always have time to start working on the second one when the first one is drying. So it's I would say it's very timely efficient to have several going on at once.
Do you do a lot of series where you'd have like maybe I don't know like a whale series or and are you working on any sort of projects in particular right now where you're maybe combining a number of different works together or anything like that?
So I do when there is exhibition, I do like to have a series that is cohesive and it's not just random paintings that they're not connected. I like them to connect to each other to tell one story. And at the moment, I am working on some commissions, but I'm preparing for exhibition later in the year, and now I'm just in the process of having this thought about the whole concept, like what I wanted to say, and then I need to find the individual paintings, how they will connect all to one big story. So it will be like a series of, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 paintings. And also what I'm doing is at the moment I'm working on some live paintings, like a live wedding painting. So it's really clearly a portraiture of real people
That's a little
on the
different.
different,
Yeah.
yes, and in the real environment. And this is actually very beautiful experience as well, when you can connect with other person, and you feel the energy of the day because you are there to start painting them live, and then I finish in the studio, but I you gain all this environment energy and how they are, and you hear when they do the toast, during the wedding, and they talk a little bit about the bride, and they talk a little bit about the groom, and you have a feeling of how these people are, and then I can translate it on this canvas, translate it in this portrait,
Yeah.
and it's just beautiful how it's received
Yeah.
and how it ends up. It's like a magic.
Yeah. So you have an exhibition coming at the end of the year, and is there any other ones that you have planned? So maybe some of the viewers watching obviously can have a little bit of an idea. And are you doing any in Europe also? Do you do any in other parts of the world, or is it predominantly in Australia?
So mostly my exhibition have been in Australia, and I did one in Europe, in the town where I'm actually grow up, so in Czech Republic. And this was 2012, 2023, so 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like viewers perceive your work differently in Europe as opposed to Australia? Yeah. Okay. Uh, in what way, if I may ask? Just
Uh, I think mostly because I live here now 11 years, and if I do a work which is um, not like a portrait, but is connected actually to the wildlife or underwater, the inspiration is mainly from here, and I think it's just felt that people here they feel closer to it than in Europe, and especially if you think about Czech Republic, Czech Republic, Poland, because I'm from the border with Poland. There is no ocean in Czech Republic. There's no sea,
yeah,
so I think it's just a different connection to it, and I think it can be. Some people have it more naturally that they are drawn to go to the ocean, to the sea, and to the water, but there is a lot of Czech for me. It's a lot of rivers, mountains, forests,
yeah. Basically
castles.
180 degrees.
I think this caused this different perception of my art, which is still very well accepted, but I can see the difference. Definitely, I can see the difference.
That's good. Yeah, yeah. I'm really hats off to you that you completely changed everything and you decided to stay. I've never been. I really would like to go. So I think it's really
So,
really admiring. So I wanted to ask you just a couple of things to close off. The first one is, of course, you talked about a lot about symbology, about diving, how you connect diving, obviously, into canvas, but predominantly through obviously big creatures like sharks and whales and everything else. Um, Out of everything that you're doing right now in relations to ocean and art and everything, what is the one thing that you really enjoy the most, or the thing that really, really, um, you know, um, inspires you to do maybe the next piece and the next piece and the next piece? Is it more the symbology that you're giving to the paintings, the experience of the viewers in when they are looking at your artworks, or is it basically just kind of more the connection that you have with the ocean and being able to transmit that into canvas, or a mix of everything? I don't know, but just what is it really that that you enjoy about this whole process the most?
yes, I think it's the most is my is my connection really to the ocean, and it's something that happens inside of me. It's like I see something or underwater, or I see a photo, or it happens sometimes in the dreams. I painted actually a few paintings because I had a dream, and then this became a painting, and then from there is I have to paint it. It's like I have to. If I don't do it, it will haunt me every day
Until you
until I
forget,
make
until you hopefully don't forget your dream, right?
I write it down. So I
Yeah.
make notes. I make a
Okay.
lot of and and then when it's really persisting, it's still there, it's still there, it's still there, it's still there, then I have to paint it.
Yeah.
So it's for this inside, um, inside something that I want to get out to be in the real world, and my connection then to the ocean, like how I feel, and or to the wildlife, how I feel, and that's why. So that's the main motivator, I would say, to paint and to create. That it's not necessarily, unless it's a commission and somebody asks me to paint something, but it's not necessarily, it's like not something that I would choose. It's just chosen, and I'm just there to do it because I cannot get it out of my head. It will
Yeah.
be there all day
It's
and
kind of
keep.
like writing, like the same way you write your dreams, you
Yeah.
basically taking it a step f forward and putting a little bit more
Mm.
visual. And then you obviously take what you see, I suppose, on in the ocean. And then do you actually like, I don't know, like maybe go diving and then come back directly to the studio and paint, or is that like, or is it more like you go diving and 2, 3 days later then you reframe yourself
Yes,
and
yes, more. Yes, I don't. No, I never do straight
right
after.
away?
Sometimes
Okay.
it takes you, but I take a camera with me. I think every dive now I take my camera, and also my partner has a camera. So then we are looking at the videos, and then we see something. Oh, this is really cool. So they, okay, can you freeze this for me? I will use it like for painting.
Yeah,
So a lot, so yeah, there is a lot of like aftermath after diving, and I still write my logbook. So I
yeah,
still write every what I saw, what I really like, and
yeah,
if really, I just try to remember it, really, really describe it. So I
yeah.
think, okay, this painting. Mm, yes.
Awesome. And I wanted to ask you also, because you mentioned that obviously that it was really interesting what we're doing in showcases. For your type of art, obviously, you know, there's a lot of symbology. You have to be kind of right in front of it to really feel the presence, I suppose. How is it for you when you're displaying it digitally, and not just in social media, but how do you also see it, like this whole notion of digital screens and art, and obviously, like we're doing it, bringing it in iconic places such as Times Square, Vegas, London. Uh, you know, how do you see all this playing into the mix and in general, just for the industry going forward?
So I um, I do love seeing art um, live. So I think there's definitely a difference between seeing an Instagram or on the website a canvas or see it live. But at the same time, I think this allows us to be everywhere, to be able to reach, I don't know, a person from the other side of the world. So I think this is great. I think it's a great tool for an artist to be able to touch somebody through this little, the little digital image from the other side of the world. They will want to have this painting or art print. And as you mentioned, the displays, like in the public spaces, I think, and especially if it's a bigger screen, I think this is great because my my belief is, and this is what I'm discovering through the journey of being an artist as well, to kind of observe how even people react to art, or how they think about art. And many times you will hear somebody will talk to me and they say, but I don't know anything about art. I'm not arty. I don't know art, but I think that we don't need to know art. Like we have it inside of us. Many people are not aware that art is everywhere. They just not aware about it. Just
Yeah,
try to remove everything from the walls in your house. How the house will feel? It's
yeah,
terrible.
yeah,
It's and I think this is another thing that I'm discovering through my journey and the thing that you mentioned that I think is amazing that you guys do this displays and people can start uh, discovering this connection to art
yeah.
and what they like, what they don't like, and maybe because art is a medium that is speaking not through words or not through what we know, but it just speak in a different language.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And actually, a lot of the artists that I also interview, it's quite interesting because a lot of them, they say they always have started their life somewhere, and somewhere along the way, art came into the place. A lot of them, they'll have it, like you said, I was drawing a lot when I was a child. So it's always been there, right? For many of us, it just takes a little bit longer for those who are actually artists, to obviously find that, that's the number one thing they want to focus on. Or even so those that obviously do it, as a hobby. But when I actually interview them, it's always there's always this one thing where it's like, oh, you know, that kind of brought me in this direction, or that geared me more to this direction, so that allowed me to learn a little bit more, and so it's quite interesting, obviously, that you say that, and I totally agree. I believe everyone has, their own innate creativity side. Obviously, just some people are a little bit more caught up in, as you say, the everyday things, and they're not looking to be more creative, but that spark is always there. So really, really valid point. It was really great, Isabella, obviously getting to know your journey, and now obviously when I see your paintings, I'm gonna think about diving in Australia, right? So which is completely different than just looking at them, without that much background, right? Just to finalize, for those watching, if they're obviously interested in your paintings, and in commissions, etc., what would be the best way to reach out to you? Would it be through your Instagram, through your website, or what other channels would be good for people to obviously see more of your works, and of course your upcoming projects, and maybe exhibitions as well?
So at the moment, the best way would be the Instagram and the Facebook page, and the website will be. So I'm changing over my website, and it will be finalized by end of June. So then, of course, the website will work as well. But I think Instagram is kind of the easiest way for most of people who have Instagram, and
Almost half the world or more, I guess. Yeah. Awesome.
yes.
And your username on Instagram?
I like a human eye
No.
in yes, like in the water. It's all
Eye in
together.
the water. Eye in the water. Yeah. Which I suppose draws you back to the sharks again, right? So
Yes,
fair enough.
that's kind of how it started. So I
Excellent.
just kept it as my Instagram.
Awesome. Perfect. Sounds good. Well, again, really, really great learning more. And we're obviously looking forward to having you in one of our showcases in the near future. And yeah, um, maybe we can have a next session a little bit later on, more focused on certain things on the marine life. So great again, Isabella, and have a good rest of your day, or nighttime. So
Thank you, Gina. It was a
thank you.
pleasure.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram to support our artists.